Whenever you put yourself out there to do anything, there's always someone that's going to try and bring you down because they've never done anything on their own. And so if someone wants to do something and they want to ask me questions like that, that's one thing. But if someone doesn't do anything and they want to criticize, then I have no time for them. Now, another cartoonist wants to have a problem with me or whatever, that's a different story. But at least somebody who's actually done something, I'll talk to or talk about.
The following video is not commentated by animators, therefore everything can be taken as parody. Please do not sue us, Mr. Man. That's the disclaimer.
Perfect. I'll put that at the beginning of every video from now on.
No! Yeah, just every time. Just like, the following video has not been criticized by animators. Please take this as parody, and it's totally under the Copyright Infringement Act of whatever the fuck it says.
And my relentless mocking campaign against Butch Hartman continues. But don't worry, we're finally starting to get to the part of the show where continuity matters. Only took us 3-4 years to get to this point. But I assure you, these breaks in between episodes have been very necessary for me. Especially given the one we just finished. At least these are only 20 minutes long, right?
It's both good, but also the problem. So I don't even know.
Yeah.
Is it always so cold?
Wow.
Why? Okay. I actually, I thought that I dug that. That was really funny. It was really casually just a slap.
Yeah.
They didn't react at all. That was really funny.
But I digress. We have arrived at episode 9, My Brother's Keeper. The episode where Danny realizes that he sucks at fighting ghosts, but then ultimately does nothing to change it because the episode plays it off like it was just Spectra being mean to him. As the title suggests, we're also getting a little bit more of Jazz this episode. So, yippee. Can't wait for that. Remember everyone, this little blossoming genius here still doesn't believe that ghosts are real, despite the fact that she was present during the meat monster attack and the whole incident with the college reunion. Not to mention the other couple isolated incidents that happened here and there, of which the last episode is included. Not exactly sure how she's rationalizing these events, but there you go. To her credit, I suppose, she is finally starting to realize that her brother has been acting off for the past few months. Took her long enough, but in fairness, we have to keep in mind the other things she somehow doesn't notice. And honestly, considering the fact that this is the episode where they finally decided to make her a character, let's take a brief look at her rationale and how that affects her as a person in the series. The episode opens with Jazz going to Mr. Lancer for help and advice on Danny. She explains to him how he's been acting increasingly more distant over the last couple months and fears it may be leading to some kind of negative outburst if it isn't addressed. Initially, one may wonder to themselves, yeah, I get it. But why are you going to this dork about it? But in reality, Lancer is probably the best option from her perspective. In what's not completely an unreasonable stance, Jazz views her parents as complete whack cases, and thus unreliable for any sound advice relating to teen angst. Tucker and Sam are Danny's friends. Allegedly. So approaching them would be a fruitless endeavor as well. And she herself can't approach Danny about any of this as she feels her concern would come across as overbearing to him. I'll give you this much, show. It does seem like Jazz has thought this one through a little bit. And while I would argue that the boomer authority figure isn't going to be any help, it probably is your best option given the rest of the morons you're surrounded by. I also do appreciate that the show is taking the time to put Jazz into a more humanized depiction that isn't annoying overachiever. Up to this point, point, pretty much all of her appearances in the show were just her being annoyed at her parents or just generally being self-righteous about nothing. This is the first time we've actually seen her express actual concern and affection towards a member of her family, and it's something that the show has desperately needed. It could be argued that we got a little bit of it in the garage sale episode, but that just ended up being a vehicle for pushing the plot forward. Invite my brother to this party or else I'm not going. I'm still not going because my presence in the story is no longer necessary. This is the first time that Jazz is an actual presence throughout the episode, showing genuine concern for her brother, which is a huge step for her character. Overall, I'd say this is probably one of the best cold opens we've seen in the show thus far, simply because of that. Other than the fact that we have no point of reference of Danny acting off at all, but we can't win them all, I guess. Jazz doesn't really go into detail about what not being himself means because the writers don't exactly have the details to go into. Danny is, as he always has been, a blank character slate that makes quippy one-liners. I suppose we could say that he's acted distant and uninterested in previous episodes, but that could just be chalked up to general cartoon teenager stereotypes. It is what it is, though. I won't get too picky here, since I can tell that this is one of the episodes where the writers are actually trying on today. After the frustrating bombardment of idiocy that was the previous episode, one of the writers said to the other, "You know, maybe we should actually do something with all these characters we're throwing at the screen like a dartboard." While this is going on, Danny has the classic ghost sense go off, and he sees a ghost peering through the window of one of the offices. And what is this ghost doing, you may be asking? Well, he's being evil, clearly. Look at him patiently waiting for Danny to spot him so that we can get a fight scene with him. And again, how it's just kind of standing here, staring at a bookcase. Pure evil, I tell you. It could be said that Danny's just getting a little trigger happy with attacking and beating up the deceased, but this is clearly a menace to society that has to be stopped. And so we get ourselves a nifty little fight sequence in which Danny proceeds to not use the Fenton thermos again. Or for that matter, any of his abilities that would instantly end this conflict. Lest we forget that at this point in the series, Danny has intangibility, spiritual possession, invisibility, flight, and literal laser beams that he can shoot out of his hands, on top of the instant win button that just effortlessly and immediately traps ghosts with no hassle whatsoever. Now, with that in mind, let's examine how Danny handles this situation. Confronts ghost, punch to the right, gets blocked, punch to the left, gets blocked. Dodges one attack. Karate chops through center mass and it doesn't do anything. Poses for the camera. Stands still and lets himself get hit by an office chair. Shoots lasers at various spots of the office even though the ghost is obviously baiting him to do so. Jumps forward a little bit. Does nothing as the ghost roars at him. Continues to do nothing as the ghost turns intangible and leaves. Bravo, Danny. You're exactly as competent now as you were in the very first episode.
Wait, so he can become like a ghost, but he can get hit with a chair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he doesn't ever use the main thing that ghosts are known for.
Why did he?
Why did he do that?
Why did he do that?
Why didn't he chase the ghost?
Yeah,
I mean, it made.
Because the ghost got away, Tom.
Good one, Fenton. You let him get away, you idiot.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it. But since admitting is the first step to changing, we can give Danny a good old pat on the back. Yes, Danny, you are in fact a gigantic moron, and I'm more than half convinced that you let these things get away on purpose. I'd also love to hear the explanation of how Lancer and the other school employee base rationalize the smoke coming off of the obvious burn and char marks around the room, as well as the cracked walls, destroyed desks and chairs and whatnot, and how they could conclude that this is something that Danny did unless they are aware that he has superpowers. No matter, we can ignore all of that and be introduced to the new character of this episode, a demon woman who's fashioned her hair to look like devil horns. Her name is Spectra. So gee, I wonder who the villain is today.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's just here.
She just appeared out of nowhere. It's just like, I'm just here, I'm a therapist.
Makes you think that she's basically, the funny thing is, because she's like the school counselor, right?
Yeah.
She's just the equivalent of Mr. Mackey. Which shouldn't even be that funny, because I'm not even really making any real commentary here, but I'm just saying. Now I'm just going to think of her as being Mr. Mackey the whole time.
Spectra here has the nefarious plot of posing as a living human in order to do evil stuff. This all seems well and good, but as we know, Danny has his own little early warning defense system whenever there's a ghost around, which makes it a bit hard for one to hide out in the open. To counter this, Spectra has turned the AC on to max in her office, which makes it so that everyone can see their breath, and thus Danny's ghost sense is indistinguishable from normal cold breath. It is completely unclear if she does this on purpose as a way to counter Danny's ability, or if it's just something she's doing just because the writers demanded it.
Okay, so I know the whole fucking twist of this goddamn episode and like the whole turning the temperature down, but like,
right? But Spectre doesn't know that.
I know, but like I'm trying to say like so does she know about Danny's ghost?
I don't know, man. I have no
isn't
idea.
Isn't that the whole point, turning down the temperature so that it's just really cold in here?
Well, I don't think that they say that that's what it is. I think it's just she's just doing it because that's what she's doing. Like,
what the fuck? I mean, if she's she's supposed to be the principal, isn't she?
no, she's the school therapist.
Has she always been there?
No, this is the first time.
Okay, I know the twist. Okay, I know the twist. She's the bad guy because I saw the opening credit card.
Well, I mean, I would think that you would think that she's a bad guy because of the devil horns that she has.
No.
No.
You see, because but you see, because of the amazing animation, I saw it from the title card. So
Yes.
I can fix her. Will.
We got ghost powers, okay? I shouldn't use those to steal from people, okay? I shouldn't bully anybody,
It could be said that since her whole power revolves around making people miserable, that this is just meant to be another tactic in doing so, which is fine, I suppose.
Is it always so cold in here?
Yeah, thank you, Jazz. Good foreshadowing for the future reveal. Naturally, Danny has absolutely no suspicion towards the woman called Spectra that just kind of appeared out of nowhere and is keeping her office as a refrigeration unit, and instead just gets mad at Jazz for existing because the episode is demanding that he has to be acting not himself today. Danny's punishment for mysteriously causing hundreds of dollars worth of damage to school property that no one is questioning the means of is to be forced into therapy sessions with this obvious demon.
Jazz, Dr. Spectra is a highly respected motivational speaker and teen therapist.
You see, that's why her hair is like a devil, you see.
Oh, is she now? So basically what you're telling me is that she's actually put effort into this evil plot then. You suppose we're going to be hearing anything more of that? No, of course not. But don't worry, Danny Phantom Writers, because I'll be here to fill in the gaps for you. While I try not to remind myself of this, keep in mind that we're still in early Season 1, meaning that the impending Season 3 retcon of these not being dead people hasn't taken place yet. And as funny as it is to keep making fun of Butch Hartman for this, I can at least pretend to be fair sometimes and look at this through the lens of how it was clearly originally written. Spectra is obviously the ghost of a psychologist that died. Not only that, but the ghost of a vain psychologist, since her entire gimmick is obsessing over being young. And since she's basically a Stephen King demon, the way that she achieves that is by feeding off the negative emotions of everyone around her, meaning that she can take advantage of her position as a therapist to purposefully make everyone as miserable as possible. And now that that's out of the way, we can get to the dark stuff. If Spectra died, how was she able to continue passing herself off as being alive all this time? Surely there's a death record and all those accolades she apparently has, wouldn't you suppose? Unless, of course, she took on a brand new identity, in which case she would have to forge all of her past achievements and the like, which I don't think it really needs to be said, but that's kind of hard to do. Then we have this moron, Bertrand, who I don't know who this is supposed to be. He's a shapeshifter that either takes the default form of this or this, and all the other times he takes on the form of other animals so he can screw with Danny. Other than that, that's all we have for these two. I have no point of reference for their relationship or even what they get from one another, aside from Danny's exposition dump later, but that opens up a whole new can of worms that I'll address in a little bit. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. It's very weird when you apply the critical eye here and see which ghosts these writers gave an in-depth backstory to and which ones they didn't. Spectra seems like a character who would have one of these in-depth backstories, and yet we know basically nothing about her. Man, I don't know. I'm not saying I want to hear the life story of every single moron that decides they're going to go pester Danny for whatever stupid reason, but for a show that likes to spell out every single significant detail to its audience, they sure like to be selective about who you get to hear about. Wow, Spectra, why are you keeping it so darn cold in here? Wink, wink. Meanwhile, Spectra and Bertrand are both completely unknowable mysteries that sprinkle hints around themselves of a larger story that could be told of who they are and what they're doing. And I should be clear here, because I can already see how this argument could get twisted. In a future episode, we'll probably get to in another 4 or 5 years, we're introduced to a couple in the Ghost Zone by the names of Johnny and Kitty. We also receive absolutely zero backstory from these two, but the difference lies in the actual visual storytelling that we get from them. Just from how they're dressed alone, you can pretty safely assume that this is a couple from the mid-80s or so, and they likely died in a motorcycle accident. Boom, we're done. That's all we need to know about these two. Episode can now proceed. Spectra, on the other hand, has quite literally appeared out of nowhere, and nobody's acknowledging it other than giving us the vague statement of she has a history of doing her job correctly. Meanwhile, she has this very specific motivation and ability that is in direct contrast with what her job is, and has some other rando hanging out with her to occasionally give us an action scene. There's no way to really determine who she is beyond that, and it comes across like there is a larger story to be told with her, but one that we never get, which in turn makes her appearance seem random and just for the purpose of the story's existence. Through my very mild amount of research into the subject, I have found that the theory does exist that she isn't actually a ghost, but a full-on demonic spirit that's just posing as one. And honestly, I really like that idea. And I kind of wish it was in the episode. It would obviously make her stand out as a villain and would be an interesting piece of lore that, as usual, could yield some pretty neat story opportunities. Not only giving us the information that demons exist in the Danny Phantom universe, but distinguishing the difference between them and ghosts and establishing them as a different kind of threat for Danny to face. But needless to say, we don't get interesting things. Because this is Danny Phantom. So therefore, the extent of our explanation on who this person is does not extend beyond she is emotional vampire lady. Look how cool we made her hair look. It looks like a vampire, you see. But anyway, now that I've rambled about that for a minute, now might be a good time to bring up the other convenient gimmick of this episode. Danny's high school is putting on a pep rally. Because, you know, of course they are. Same time as an emotional vampire lady shows up to make everybody depressed. And since Jazz is perfect or something, she's going to be the one leading this rally with a speech about school spirit before setting off a bunch of sparklers about it. Usual waste of time school events that these people put on instead of actually doing education, in other words. Pretty par for the course. I don't have much of a comment for it. However, the Jazz giving a speech thing is important for later, so I'll put a pin in it for now. In the meantime, we can get started on examining Spectra's approach to emotional manipulation. This should be great fun because I'll get to approach it from two different angles. The actual therapy angle of what these morons have to do to actually fix their life, and the evil opposite version that's supposed to make everyone sad. Basically, my goal today is to be a better villain than the show is giving us. This usually isn't difficult, but it's still fun all the same. Starting off, we have Paulina and her stupid problem.
So you're saying my popularity is like completely dependent on my beauty?
Ugh. Okay, never mind. No, I'm not doing this. There are those out there that have the patience for these kinds of people. I'm not one of them. Read a book, Paulina. God damn. Let's skip ahead to Danny here and explain why he sucks instead.
The happy chair.
Happy chair.
I like the happy chair.
Danny doesn't like the happy chair.
Well, he should be happier then.
I agree. I don't know what his problem is.
And can we please turn up the heat in here? I can see my own breath.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Cram it down our throats a little harder there, Danny. It's funny to think that your entire early warning system is countered by the presence of cold air. There's an entire quarter of the year where you'll just have zero clue if there's a ghost around you or not.
So I guess like the whole idea is like you get to chill. What happens when it's like what happens like when it's like cold in his house?
You know, is that meant to be mist coming out of their mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like Soul's ghost stuff.
Yeah, apparently it's so cold that like it's so cold in that room that you can see your
Well,
breath.
it doesn't look like mist breath. It looks like shitty animation. I know I'm not an animator,
But
but
you're not an animator. You can't say that.
No, they have minty fresh breath from all the Tic Tacs they've been eating.
Yeah, he goes, Danny, are you extra?
Anyway, I've mentioned this before, but Danny is not a smart kid. The extent of Spectra's strategy against him is to call him a loser and a baby before telling him that Jazz was the one saying it. That's pretty much the extent of the psychological analysis. Spectra bullies him the same way Dash would and then leaves. And I mean, I get it. It kind of sucks thinking that someone you love is calling you a loser, but man, it is a good thing that I am not in Spectra's position. I would have Danny's entire mental state destroyed in the same amount of time that she had. Imagine being Spectra and knowing that you have to make people miserable in order to like gain your powers or whatever, and you just happen to land a job as a high school therapist. It's like, man, I lucked out.
Apparently what she does, she has pictures of doing it.
Yeah. Like, I'm living life on tutorial mode right now.
Like, she's apparently well known. How long has she been doing this for is the real question.
Yeah, right? Considering the fact that she's supposed to be dead?
Which means, where the fuck did she come from?
Then why do I feel so miserable?
I don't know. Probably because you feel like you won't amount to anything, which is fairly likely because your grades aren't that good and you miss a lot of school time for some unknown reason. It just seems like you're one of those kids that needs to work that little bit harder than the other kids if you want to have the same level of success as them. That's okay, though. At least you're well liked among your peers. Well, 2 of them anyway. I think. Probably, I don't know. There we go. I have now emphasized in you a very deep-rooted fear about the outcome of your future, as well as planted doubt in you about your friends. You go have fun now, Danny. Sure is a good thing that the range of your ghost sense is exactly the same as the dimensions of my office, even though Bertrand was standing right behind the door as you were walking out and apparently still didn't go off, but yeah, that's okay. I guess we can say that walls block it or something, even though sometimes it doesn't.
Why is Ghost Sense not going off right now? She walked out of her room. She's right there. She is right fucking there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Why do you think I know these things?
I know why. Because the show's inconsistent.
Well, yes. Yeah. Now, we could go into the following scene where Jazz and Danny argue with each other for a minute, but I really don't want to. There are a couple interesting things about it, but ones that are only worth mentioning in passing, one of which being Jazz bringing up the portal incident, which is kind of interesting. It would follow that her and her parents would be aware of the incident, however, it's weird that none of them gave any consideration to the long-term effects of it. Our son was blasted with an unknown energy from a different plane of existence. I wonder if we should look into that at all. Nah, let's make redundant and less effective versions of ghost hunting technology that we already have.
You have to talk to somebody, Danny. You barely have any friends. Besides these 2.
Yes, Danny, you only have 2 conditional friendships with people that only hang out with you for their benefit. See how they got mad here? It's not because Jazz was suggesting that they weren't his friends. It's because she was suggesting that he gets other friends aside from them. This is great. I feel like I'm watching Wish Upon again. But that's okay, because we're spared from having to talk about this more by the sudden appearance of Bertrand and his latest attack on humanity. After briefly spelling out to the audience that him and Spectre are planning something super evil for the Casper High School spirit thing, he decides it's a good time to screw with Danny some more. So he turns himself into a giant wasp and begins tormenting people.
It's the glowing green wasp of South Asia.
Yeah. So, Jazz, what do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
That I'll say one thing.
Okay.
My immediate thought is I don't think it's a ghost because it's a bug and bugs don't have souls.
I mean, fair.
You know? But also it's giant, glowing, and green, and we have a bunch of other reasons to believe that it's a ghost in fucking Amityville, so.
Yeah. Of course, this means that we get to have another fun-filled breakdown of how Danny decides he's going to handle this situation. Should be great fun. Let's see what we got. Hornet Thing attacks Jazz. Danny kicks it into a wall.
I have a question. How did Danny hit him when he's intangible, and we've shown that he can be intangible through other ghosts? Because I'm like 99% sure we've seen him do that.
I mean, yeah, but like we've also seen him be intangible and still interact with other intangible ghosts, man. So I don't know.
The way it works is basically value 1 and value 2. Value 2 is solid object. Value 2 is not solid object. If you're in not solid object mode and somebody else is in not solid object mode, then you should be able to touch. That's the way it works. But that bug was not in not solid object mode. He was in solid object mode, meaning you should have went through it.
Well, why would two not solid things be able to then touch each other?
Because they're both in the fucking intangibleness. I don't know.
Yeah, but
my point still stands that he shouldn't have been able to fucking get. He went through.
Yeah.
Also, he kicked the bug. So how did it go through the wall?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Why are you asking me this?
That's why this shit pisses me off. His powers could literally have rules that could make sense, and then they just go, I'll just throw them out the window.
Yeah. Danny stops in midair and allows the hornet thing to regain itself. Short exchange of quippy dialogue. Danny holds still and does nothing as hornet thing goes in to impale him with his stinger. It somehow misses a non-moving target and then leaves.
Yeah, I assure you, he's like the least clever person ever. What the fuck are you doing?
I should have gone intangible. Idiot.
Correct.
Yeah, or moved. It hit you in the arm, dude. You could have just moved. You literally could have taken a half an inch step to the left and he would have whiffed.
You had so much time to react to that, Danny. Like, what did you do?
Duck, punch him, fly, shoot a fucking ectoblast, motherfucker do literally anything.
Do anything.
Besides stand there and go, and then some retard will be like, oh, well, actually, Danny's currently under the effect of Spectre's abilities. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck about that.
She made me sad. Get over it.
Yeah. Wah.
Hey, you're basically doing my job for me, Danny. Yes, you should have gone intangible. That is a stupidly powerful ability, and you never take advantage of it. Ever. But you know what you could have done to completely avoid this entire situation, Danny? Do you know? You know what piece of technology you have on you that you could use at pretty much any given moment to deal with ghosts without even having to use any of your abilities? No? Well, okay, never mind then.
I'm not getting better at this. I'm getting worse.
No, you're staying about the same. Also, I'd like to point out Jazz says this.
Wait a minute. That was a ghost? That was 2 ghosts?
Man, I'd really love to know what you thought it was before, Jazz. In this universe where it has been constantly stated that ghosts exist and have been in multiple situations where you've witnessed them firsthand, you didn't assume that the giant glowing green demon wasp was one of them. I'd like to say that surprises me, but honestly it doesn't. Jazz isn't a very smart person. Have we noticed a trend here yet, everyone? But okay, let's see here. The next scene can probably be skimmed a little bit. Jazz still can't get through to Danny. Danny brings up the loser thing again, and Jazz doesn't question it at all. And then we're introduced to the latest piece of Fenton technology that's going to be used later to defeat Spectra. It's a mech suit thing that supposedly peels layers off of ghosts or something. Yeah, they're not very subtle about it.
Really convenient thing for when we use it on Spectra, so it can be all about how she's old, actually, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
she has some really weird weakness where she's just constantly de-aging, or getting old, even though no one else is doing that.
Yeah.
No other ghost has that problem, but whatever,
Why is Bertrand helping her?
I don't, because he's a fucking cuck.
I guess.
He's a little cucky boy.
Spectra has Danny dress up in embarrassing attire so people will laugh at him. Yeah, we're skipping that too. Danny still doesn't suspect anything is off about this, by the way.
Does the rest of the faculty know that she's dressing him up like this?
Yes.
He keeps some things to himself, but it's not like he's doing anything criminal.
A month's detention? But I didn't do anything.
See, I'd be like, here's the thing, unless there was a camera for that spot, and I'm sure Danny just stood there like a retard, didn't actually take his backpack off the thing, I'd be like, hey, prove I did that, dude.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you. Month detention. How about you do a month of shutting the fuck up, dude? Prove I did that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I agree with you, but that would require Danny to have any kind of spine whatsoever.
I'd be using the thing of insert person here, something ghost, and then I'd be using my parents as a freaking weapon at this point. I gotta get these motherfuckers out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Wasting my goddamn time.
Like, Dad, I think my principal's a ghost.
It's crazy.
Regardless, on to things that actually matter. We pick back up with the trio at an ice cream shop where we get to listen to Danny complain some more. Oh, wait, never mind. It's a pharmacy, I guess. A pharmacy with an ice cream shop? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing, Butch. Also, Tana, okay, I want you to just like take in the shot currently, right? Because like it's interesting once we cut to the interior of it, right? So.
Yeah, I'm sure. I almost already know what it's going to be. Well, considering it doesn't make it. None of this shot makes any sense, but sure.
The pharmacy with the outdoor dining, that doesn't make sense to you, Tana? Hell's wrong with you.
And also, they have their carts lined up in a parking spot. Like, what the fuck is that?
Why didn't you just make it an ice cream shop? This is genuinely confusing me.
Yeah, and then also, yeah, it's like they're at the burger place or the ice cream place or any other place that they usually go to, but it's just the pharmacy. They decided to make a different thing for no reason.
I don't know. Maybe this is a reference I'm missing, but I'm going to make fun of you for it regardless. Pharmacies don't sell ice cream, Butch. They typically sell drugs. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, Danny complaining. So while the trio is indulging in their favorite Oxycontin-flavored ice cream, Danny proceeds to not make any connections on what's going on.
I don't get it. Why am I so depressed and angry all the time?
Well, let's see. Let's break out my notes, shall we? We can ignore the obvious "you're a hormonal teenager" answer that the show is clearly going for, and I'll give you the two main reasons that you're missing. You're being blatantly gaslit by a demon, and your friends are making fun of you for it.
Man, it was brutal making you wear that stupid baby suit. I can hardly watch. Though I did get some good digital pics. Hey, whose side are you on anyway?
Danny, come on. You know he's kidding.
Yes, Danny. He's just joking about saving an embarrassing photo of you on his stupid little BlackBerry thing. God, Danny, come on. It's not like we would scorn and shame you if you did anything even remotely similar or anything. Say, Tucker, how's your frozen Vicodin?
That shrink was supposed to be helping me. Ever since I started talking to her, I've been feeling worse.
Oh, you're getting close there, Danny. Careful. There's still like 15 minutes left in this episode.
Hey, Danny, how's it going?
Aha! The writers clutched up on that one. We're not ready for Danny to figure this out yet. Time to bend the fabric of reality to teleport his sister in to distract you. Ah, Danny, excellent. I knew I'd find you here at your favorite ice cream shop. Elmer's Pharmacy. It's the super cool hangout spot for all the in-crowd, as you can see over here where Paulina is applying makeup at the cosmetics section. That's in the exact same spot that the ice cream parlor was in less than a minute ago. See? Pharmacy stuff. The ice cream parlor turned into a cosmetics station.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't have any clue where the fuck they're at.
I don't know.
This scene should have just taken place at the mall or something.
Right. Oh, wait. Oh, I get it now. You changed it to a pharmacy last minute because the joke of Paulina obsessively applying makeup wouldn't have worked if she was coming in for ice cream. Okay, that makes sense now. I'm learning your storytelling techniques here, Butch. I got you. See, the building in My Brother's Keeper was always meant to be a pharmacy. We never wanted it to be an ice cream parlor. Anyway, Bertrand shows up again, so now Danny has to go not use his thermos against him. However, we have a small problem with that. Jazz is still here, so now he has to have a problem for the first time ever about going ghost in public. And since general problem solving has never really been a strong suit of Danny's, he basically just runs away and expects Jazz to not follow him. Tucker and Sam, meanwhile, are presented with the opportunity to distract Jazz so that she doesn't follow him, and then they proceed to not do that. Instead, they just decide to chase after him as well because I don't know why. Truth be told, do you think they even do? Ah, yes, Danny's doing the superhero thing again. Time for us to stand in the background and do nothing because... what the hell are we even supposed to do? Are we seeing where this is going yet? I know you probably have a concussion from how hard they're beating this into your skull, but I urge you to continue.
I want to point out how she had to go through a back room. Danny took 6 billion years to just change. He could have, and we've literally seen him go round the door, change, do his thing.
Yeah.
And he decided to take 6 years for no reason just so she could find out, so he could have this fucking nonsense happen.
Well, and also watch this right here. Yeah, looking straight at Jazz.
Yeah. I would assume that this is because he's like farther forward and he's looking over here.
Yeah,
he's not actually seeing this, but also that's still that's a terrible shot.
Yeah, not looking at the door that he just came out of. Checking the dumpster to make sure everything's clear. There you go.
Yeah, can't have any homeless person seeing you. Okay. No, she was literally right there in his field of vision. There ain't no fucking way he didn't see that.
No.
She was literally aligned with him. So that proves what I said wrong. Therefore, that was retarded.
Yeah. And now he's going to fly away from where the ghost is. And also Sam and Tucker came in from a different direction. Like, where the hell did they come from?
Yeah, why did you guys not, like, I don't know, go the other way to stop Jazz from going in there? You fucking idiot. You're useless.
Yeah, there we go. That about covers everything, I think. Oh, yeah, and there's also this alleyway didn't exist in the first shot of the pharmacy that we saw. Yes, I know. Stop the presses. The geography of a Danny Phantom location doesn't make sense, but that's okay. We can talk about the thing that they just forced into existence instead. With the narrative delicacy and subtlety of a man who has successfully gotten the triangle peg into the square hole, Jazz now knows that Danny has superpowers. So I think that's cause for celebration. We've officially come to the first status quo change. And I have to say, despite everything I've just said, it's kind of cool. The show up to this point was very much portrayed as a monster of the week type of deal, and now we're finally starting to see the beginning threads of an actual story. Nothing too major, obviously, but something that very much could blossom into a major overarching narrative. The fact that the writers showed the willingness to let another character see Danny's transformation implies that they do want to do something a little more than just ghost-powered teenager punches ghosts and stuff. And yes, we've had very tiny tastes of this, that being Danny's evolving ability to use his powers and the popping up of new ones. It is kind of funny to note that although the shield ability was first used in this episode, Danny doesn't actually acknowledge it until Teacher of the Year. But I digress. This is the first time that something that actually affects the narrative has occurred, rather than just a new way for Danny to not use the thermos during fight scenes. I suppose there really isn't much else to say about it for the moment. It's a cool little thing that holds the potential to turn into something great. Will that happen? Well, let's proceed and find out. My hopes aren't high. How do you suppose Tucker and Sam are going to react to this?
It's not what you think, Jazz.
Of course it's not. Ghosts aren't real. Jazz, you sound like your father.
Brilliant. Excellent job all around, guys. Tucker fumbled the ball and then Sam roundhouse kicked it out of the field.
Ghosts aren't real.
I didn't say anything about ghosts, Sam.
I didn't say it was a ghost.
Yeah, she just. Yeah, why do you assume I said anything about ghosts, Sam?
Good job. To the contrary, I think my exact words were,
Did you see that? Tell me I didn't see what I just saw.
what? No, your brother Danny doesn't have ghost-related superpowers. What are you talking about? If there was anything that deserved a slow clap, it's that. This is made funnier by the fact that the show is treating this like Sam made the more logical response and shut Tucker down before he gave something away. It's not what it looks like. Shut up, Tucker. Now, Jazz, of course you didn't see this very specific thing that you didn't mention. Your only hope at this point is that Jazz is an even bigger moron than the two of you.
Oh, of course. Ha ha. My parents are such loons, it's rubbing off.
Ah, well, so much for that. Deception check failed, Sam. Excuse my lack of flabbergasted shock. I was so sure you had it in the bag with that one. Oh, you think you convinced her, huh? Well, I'm ultimately unsurprised about that, too. Cool, so we can have this little subplot with minimal interference. Perfect. Once again, Tucker and Sam, you have successfully not exceeded my expectations. I think we're pretty much at the point where if either of you did do something intelligent, I would point it out as a flaw in your character. Don't be flattering yourself, though. Pretty much everyone in this show is in that position. Which is a lovely little segue into how Danny is handling his latest Bertrand encounter. Shall we recap?
And Danny's now here, and I'll point out that there's just all this stuff in here. What the fuck is this place?
It's the pharmacy, damn it.
Where's the pharmacy part?
It's behind the music section.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, no, it's right there.
Oh, what the? Oh. I don't know if you're perceiving what I'm perceiving right now.
The dude that's like walking in front of the sign that's hanging on the ceiling.
Yeah, but it's like in the fucking, it's like on the ground. It's like covering the fucking left side of that movie thing. What the fuck is this what is going on in here? Whoever drew this needs to be fucking fired, bro.
So I look at people that critique as weak. Weak rhymes with critique.
Hold on. Even worse.
Okay.
This motherfucker, this fucking idiot, he stood there the whole time just sitting behind her, not invisible. Nobody noticed. Well, Danny went and flew away.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? He was just standing there for like 45 seconds. What?
People in this town aren't very observant. Bertrand pesters Paulina. Danny kicks him away. Danny lands and waits while Bertrand regains himself. Quippy one-liner. Bertrand slaps Danny. This sends him flying backwards.
I know you need your makeup, but you're just gonna have to wait your turn.
Danny. Danny.
That was a flash moment right there. I'll walk up and say something and lean right in your face so you can slap me because I'm too stupid to fucking just hit you. Or use the thermos or something. I don't know.
No.
He didn't even know you were there. You could have literally just been like, got him.
Yeah, no, but he has to kick him. Danny is thrown into a book stand. For, the book sale. At the pharmacy. Bertrand shoots a laser at Danny. This grabs the attention of people shopping for CDs and clothing. And this is what makes people finally decide to start panicking.
Oh my god,
Kamehameha!
Sam and Tucker arrive and do nothing. Danny floats in the air and does nothing as he watches Bertrand fly up and punch him in the face. He's sent flying into a backpack stand at the pharmacy. And Bertrand realizes that he can probably stop trying as hard as he is.
You're not very good at this, are you?
Yeah, well, maybe I don't need to be to beat you.
Oh man, this one's dragging.
Hey, get away from him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Tucker is immediately killed.
Rip Tucker, fucking dead as hell, because he'd be out here fucking saying stupid shit.
So basically, a few more useless things happen. Bertrand successfully baits Danny into getting angry. And then once this place is thoroughly trashed, he says to himself, okay, that's probably good for now. And then he leaves. And Danny does nothing about it.
Why does he like fly and look normal, and then he just when he moves, sometimes he has like ghost legs, and then other times he has normal legs?
I don't know, man.
Well, I can't see animation.
Like
that's amazing.
We see it's like in Dragon Ball. They can fly without their aura, but like if they don't, it doesn't look cool.
Next scene is actually pretty good. I don't have very many criticisms for it. We get a good back and forth between Danny and Jazz where she tells him she loves him and he can talk to her whenever she wants to. Danny prepares to do so, but stops when he notices his parents blowing crap up in the living room.
I'm just saying if we could find that ghost at Jazz's school, we could have peeled that ghost like an onion.
Okay, then why'd you fucking annihilate the couch for that?
Why are you blowing up the couch? You got two perfectly good children right there.
Not much else to say, really. Establishes a rather nice older sister, younger brother dynamic between the two. It's a very needed and welcome dynamic, and it's nice to see. You would think a scene like this would give my cold, cynical heart some kind of faint glow of hope or something. But you'll be happy to know that that ship has long since sailed. Realistically, all this shows me is that the writers are capable of writing good stuff, and it does nothing but strengthen my resolve whenever I think I'm being too harsh on them. Also, I'll be holding Danny and Jazz's relationship to this kind of standard going forward, Joe. No pressure or anything, I'm sure you can handle it. But my God, will you look at the time? We're 16 minutes into this 24-minute episode. Danny needs to find out that Spectra's the bad guy now, everyone.
What if she's a ghost?
Oh, wow. I don't know, man. That's pretty out there.
I know. That's...
I don't know. That sounds pretty obvious.
There you go, Danny. Figured out that intricate puzzle, did you? I'd be commending you for the realization if not for the fact that it was kind of just forced upon you.
And remember, there's only an I in misery if you spell it that way.
That is incorrect, Spectra.
Yeah, she just didn't think about that one really hard.
That's okay, though, because now you can go spy on Spectra, wherein she will proceed to discuss all the evil and all its intricacies.
Now, Danny, put her in the thermos.
No.
Put her in the thermos right now.
No, that won't work. Very fortuitous that you would pick the same time to spy on them that they both decided to do that. Also, it's a good thing that Bertrand never barges in like this when Spectra's in the middle of a session. That'd probably put a bit of a kink into things. Spectra's out here trying to torment the student base, and Bertrand just flings himself into the room like Kramer throwing open Jerry's door.
You hooked up the device?
Indeed I did, Penelope. And once it activates, the thing that we both already know is going to happen will happen. And then the thing we're doing will do the thing that we're planning for it to do. How many times do you suppose this discussion has been had? Yeah, I know, Bertrand. Thank you. You don't have to say this every time.
I figured it out, finally.
No, it was handed to you like it always is, Danny. Let's not pretend now. Come on, man. We've been through a lot, you and I. You don't need to be lying to me about stuff.
You feed on misery, don't you?
Okay, we got that part down.
You find that one thing that a kid's most afraid of.
It's not that hard to do, but sure.
And you pick at it while your snippy little ghost assistant feeds on it.
No? Danny, no, what are you doing? Spectra is obviously the one feeding off of it. You phased into the room as she was absorbing the negative energy or whatever the hell. I don't know where you're getting this idea that Butler Boy is doing it. Now, I get it. I do. I don't understand what this moron's purpose is either, but that doesn't mean you need to be making stuff up about it.
There'll be enough misery and anguish in that room to keep us looking young forever.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I guess there's that. But come on, man, you and I both know the writers didn't put any thought into that line. Spectra has spent this entire episode feeding off of negativity, and we've seen how it benefits her. Bertrand has just been the plucky little errand boy. Sure, I guess we can say he's also feeding off of it, but that's not what you said, Danny, and I'm going to be a stickler about it. What's more, I don't understand what benefit it would give him. It's obvious with Spectra, she wants to look young or whatever, but dear viewer, allow me to point out the obvious here. Bertrand doesn't look young, and even if he wanted to look young, he could just do that, because he's a shapeshifter. So, what exactly is he getting from all this idiocy?
There'll be enough misery and anguish in that room to keep us looking young forever.
Oh, so he has the same thing then.
Yeah, but he's a
shapeshifter.
He could, just make himself look young.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Okay. Sure, I guess that's what we're going with. He feeds off of it because that's what he does, and it arbitrarily makes him stronger or something.
You even took that cringe. That's who they are, man.
Yeah. But Spectra here, the one who was doing this earlier, yeah, she's not feeding off of the depression or anything. No. Bertrand's doing it. Good job, Danny. You had the entire evil plan presented to you on a silver platter, and you still don't know what's going on. It's the classic. But all that aside, we've finally come to the part where I can talk about said evil plan. And by evil plan, I mean they're just going to kill Jazz at the end of her pep speech so that everyone will be even more miserable. Which, I have to say, props to you. That's actually pretty sinister. That's probably the most horrific thing you've planned all episode. Up to this point, you've pretty much just been saying to people, you should feel bad because you suck. And to be fair, I suppose that has been working, but that's just because nobody in the school has any independent thought. Know your audience, I guess. But now you're going to allow someone to give them all some kind of uplifting speech before just straight up murdering them on the stage, essentially ripping away the last piece of hope that these morons could even pretend to hold on to. And it's made worse by the fact that Lancer here is the one who triggers the dominoes that will inevitably activate the device that kills her, so... That's pretty dark. Darker than I would normally expect from this show, at least. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you're still doing it stupidly. We could talk about how nobody is saying anything about the literal gigantic death lasers that are just pointing at Jazz's face the whole time, but I don't really see a point in it.
Also, the sparklers, those don't look like sparklers at all.
Yeah,
also, so Bertrand has fucking beams that he just, I set up the vaporizers, you just have those? What the fuck do you mean? Are you a Bond villain?
It's like, where did you get that, Bertrand?
What the fuck?
I found it.
Well, go find it again.
The general public in a Danny Phantom episode didn't notice something? My God, when will the madness end? No, officer, I swear, I thought they were the spirit sparklers. I didn't know there was a goddamn doomsday device aimed at one of my students. Now, as wild of a plot twist as that would be, we all know we're not changing the status quo that much. And also, I don't think Nickelodeon would let them just straight up vaporize a kid like that. So obviously, Danny's going to be saving her at the last second, but we have a brief fight scene we need to get through first. And oh boy, let's see how this one goes.
Oh my God, it's transforming.
She's using her cringe energy.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like curse energy, but cringe.
Oh, so another reveal that Spectra can look however she wants.
Well, she could look like a black demon thing, I guess.
If she can look like that, why can she not look like... Why does she need fucking anything to look young? She clearly can change what she looks like.
I don't know, man. Like, maybe she
This
can
doesn't
only
make
look like...
any fucking sense.
She could only switch between looking like that or looking like a young person. I don't know. Like, I don't...
So stupid.
Holy crap. Holy crap, do my eyes deceive me? Danny actually used his intangibility to dodge an attack? Like, I almost don't believe you. Oh my
he did it!
God.
Oh my God! And
Oh
he'll proceed to make the
God.
same mistake multiple times in plenty more episodes.
Unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, he uses abilities. Oh shit, what do I do?
Congratulations, Danny. You've officially made your first intelligent decision of the entire show. You avoided getting hit by a telegraphed attack. That's progress. I know it's never going to happen again, but please just let me savor this while I can. Yep. Nope. It's gone. Spectre grabbed him and now he can't do anything about it. Ah, well. Basic competency was nice while it lasted. Let's try not to think further about this show's potential.
Oh no, the sexy ghost lady's handling me. Oh no.
Oh no. Do what
Stop,
like don't...
get off.
No, stop it. No.
Like nobody's acknowledging the death rays that are just aimed at Danny's sister right now.
Okay, so then
That's fine.
use your ghost beam on her face, like you can shoot it from your fingers, so like point.
Do you know
your
what I
finger
think is
backwards.
hilarious? I love that Jacob is desperately trying to make sense of this show.
No, I'm not trying to make sense.
But yeah, Danny gives himself a little hype-up monologue and escapes from Spectra just in time to get attacked by Bertrand again. Oh my God, he's doing the thing.
He did. He basically pulled the Indiana Jones move right here.
Yeah.
Now, why haven't you been doing that every time anything else happens?
Now do it to Spectra. Now do it to Spectra.
Do it. She's literally coming right at you.
Do it to Spectra. Danny. Danny, just
No,
use the
he's
thermos.
He's
Danny.
gonna abuse a woman, which I understand. He wants to abuse a woman really quick.
Danny, why? Just use the thermos, Danny.
No.
There's no limit on how many ghosts can be in that thing.
Yeah, no.
So why doesn't he just always use it?
Well, you know.
Oh wait, hang on, sorry, I'm not an animator.
Yeah, you're not an animator. God damn, took you long enough. If there was ever an indication we're coming up on the time limit, but it's okay because the falling dominoes took exactly as long as the fight scene took, so Danny can fly in and save Jazz at the last second. To be clear, nobody acknowledges the fact that the Spirit Sparklers completely annihilated the podium and left burn marks on the stage where the speaker had just been. In fact, from the crowd's perspective, it would look like Jazz actually did get vaporized because she just straight up vanished as soon as they went off. And how do they react to this, you may be asking? Good God, these people are all monsters. What's the rationale of what you people think just happened?
Your disappearing act worked marvelously. They've got their spirit back.
Yeah, are you even the least bit curious on how she did that, Lancer? More importantly, are you wondering at all why you have two of Dr. Evil's super weapons sitting in your gym that almost just killed one of your students?
Everybody's mood is lifted, as though some gloomy malevolence has been shooed away.
Yeah, sure, that's what happened.
Also, do you guys not all notice? Lancer wasn't fucked up on the bullshit, and he didn't notice that, I don't know, it was just random fucking, the podium got annihilated.
Why are you all cheering at this? It looks like she just died. Hell yeah, we don't have to listen to her talking anymore. Whoa!
Hey, she's okay.
Oh, so you idiots didn't know if she was okay. Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit, but I felt it necessary given Casper High's sudden expression of group psychopathy.
I'm just saying you probably should have had that thing prepped because it takes 6 billion years to armor up in the first place.
Yeah, but Spectra's also just content to watch it, so it's okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Jazz uses the invention from earlier to save Danny and strip Spectra's layers away.
Why is... So why did it peel... But I thought her ghost form was her true form.
What? No, that's every ghost year being unghosted.
Yes.
You see, I'm making sense of it.
It makes sense. You're not allowed to criticize it. Danny makes a stupid joke, uses the thermos, and the two go on their separate ways, with Jazz clearly indicating that she knows who Danny is. Danny doesn't pick up on it. And then he walks into a wall.
Is it not horribly obvious that she knows? Like, come on, dude.
Danny's an idiot, Hannah.
I feel like there was a point where we were talking about what are his traits. His trait is that he's actually a fucking complete dumbass.
So there we go. Now we're all caught up, and Danny's back to being blissfully ignorant of his incompetence. Excellent.
Danny, you shouldn't be happy. You're a fucking idiot. You suck at this, bro.
No, that was just because Spectre was being mean to him.
No, he sucked before that because he lost to the fucker guy before he even talked to Spectra. So nope, unfortunately not. He's bad.
Yeah. And another episode comes to a close. And I have to say, all things considered, it seems like things are picking up a little bit. The usual nonsense is present, but at least things are happening now. We're having meaningful interactions between the characters. We're getting basic payoffs to character arcs, even if they are in vain. Things are starting to round out a little bit, going from one of the absolute worst episodes of the entire series to arguably one of the best, and then back to another one of the worst, and now we're starting to even out on the in-between currently.
No, it's fucking terrible. This is liquid ass.
Excuse me, Jacob, are you an animator?
Like the fermented diarrhea from my
Answer the question, are you an animator?
I don't need to be an animator.
That's a no! Be quiet, you!
And it's absolutely not fair for me to be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway, where I am crediting the actual good stuff to Steve Marmel, since I know he was the one who actually wanted to take the show into a serialized direction with more mature elements, and Butch just wanted it to be action Fairly Odd Parents. We'll go into more detail on this later, I'm sure, but it is something to keep in mind, because the intense tonal inconsistency of this show is 100% due to that creative conflict. It's the reason why we can go from having a touching character moment between Danny and Jazz and immediately jump to Danny's wearing a diaper. And to be clear, I have absolutely no idea if Marmol actually wrote the Danny Jazz conversation, and then Hartman subsequently wrote the Danny in a diaper scene. For all we know, they were both written by one or the other. I'm going entirely off of what I have read in articles, interviews, as well as basing it off of a general conclusion I've made after observing both of their personalities. And for that reason, I am going to quite possibly unfairly credit Marmol for every single thing that's actually good going forward. But with that being said, if you've made it this far, rejoice, dear viewer. We have finally made it out of the deep mud that is early season 1. Parental bonding, splitting images, prisoners of love. We got through all of them. It was a little touch and go there for a bit. Splitting images almost killed me, but you know. Ahead of us, we have such classics as Shades of Grey, Fanning the Flames, Public Enemies, and Control Freaks. All with brand new stupid things for me to talk about because they're finally deciding to try and make a story out of this series. I started making this nonsense in April of 2020, and I was under some weird delusion that I was going to be able to release an episode every week. But here we are in May of 2024. And I'm finally at the part I've been wanting to talk about. And if you'd like to join me on this quest, and the many others I've undertaken as well, please give me a like and a subscribe. Many more videos are on the way, including the continuation of this series. And I assure you, it probably won't take me another 4 years to wrap this season up. Thank you all so much for your support, and for joining me on this fine, fine day. And I'll see you next time. Stay well.
After we destroyed everything, you up for a cappuccino?
Fuck you. Cappuccinos are stupid, Bertram. That's why you got shot. You stupid idiot.
Well, they literally just foam in a cup.
Yeah, it is a latte where they want more foam instead of more drink. Everybody who orders a cappuccino is a fucking idiot.
Like, why?
I don't know. Because they like it all puffy and foamy and bullshit. And it's like, uh-huh.
Yeah. Good still on Danny here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a good one.
His Asian cowboy impressions going off again.
Asian cowboy, man. Yep.